Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be working on check if two string arrays are equivalent. And this is obviously quite an easy problem, but you're given two string arrays, word1 and word2, and you want to return true if the arrays represent the same string. So basically what they're saying is if you combine all the characters in the first array and combine all the characters in the second array, they should be the same string. So here if we combine this will be ABC, this will also be ABC, so we should get true. Here, if we combine this is ACB and this is ABC, so it's false. And this is the same as this. So there's two ways of doing this, especially if you're coding in Python. In Python, there's literally a join method that you can call just join an array. And what this will do is it will take every single element, it will concatenate it together into a string. You can do that on both and then just compare for equality. But what we're going to do, the problem with that is you're actually building the array into a string, so that's going to take up some space. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is we are going to actually traverse the characters and then compare for equality that way. So let's just write out two strings for example. So let's actually take this ABC thing. So we'll say ABC, then we have D, then we have D, E, F, G. And let's take another word. So let's make this one like A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, something like this, right? So they should be the same. Now let's take these and kind of show our process, what we'll be doing. Let's do this, there we go. Okay, so this should be the same. They should both be A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G. So we're gonna have four variables here to actually maintain where we are. And the four variables, it's going to be pretty simple. So we're going to have a index of what word we are on and an index of what character we are on. And we're going to have this for each word, right? So we'll have one for the left word, then we'll have one for the right word. And essentially we're just going to be looping until one of these word indexes is out of bounds, right? Because if we're on an index that's out of bounds for a word, then we're done. And so we're going to be looping. So let's kind of show this. So I'll have like a brown arrow as the index of the word, and then we can have like a red or something as the index of the character. So essentially, we'll start here. So the index of the word will be here. Now, well, maybe we'll have this as the character. So first, we're going to compare these two characters, and they are the same. Then when we increment the index for each of these, we're going to check if we increment the index, is that out of bounds for this character, right? Like, so what we're going to check is if the index, let's call this I, is less than length of the word, so length of the current word we're on, -1, then we can increment it, right? Because the length of the word here is 3. So this index can go 0, 1, 2. So if it's less than 2, we can increment it. And we can in this case, so we will. Now let's check here, and we can also increment it. Now let's compare again, and they are the same. So we can keep going. So now we can increment this one, right, because it's less than 2. But for this one, because it's not less than 2, essentially we will reset the index of the character, and we will add 1 to the index of the word. So this word would be here now for the next one, and the character would be here. Then we check again, are they the same? Yes. Okay. Now, when we increment this character, this is 2, so we can't increment it anymore. So we're going to reset the index of the character again to 0, and we're going to increment the index of the word on this left side. So now our character will be here. And same thing here, we can't increment the index of the character, so we'll do this. Now these are both the same. Now we have to do the same thing. We have to increment the word again because we can't increment the character. So we are over here. And these are the same, so we can increment the character for both of those. So these are the same, we can increment the character for both of those. These are the same, we can increment the character here, but here if we increment it, it'll be out of bounds, so we just increment the word again and reset the index of the character to 0. And finally, these are the same, and then these will both be out of bounds now. So once we go through the words, then we just check if we know we're out of bounds on one of them, right? Like if we know we're out of bounds on one of them, we can just say, are we out of bounds on both of them now for the word? If yes, return true. If no, that means we're out of bounds on one of these words. That means we went through this entire array of words, like one of them, and we haven't gone through the other one, so they can't be equal. So that's pretty much the algorithm, is we just have an index of the word and an index of the character, and at the very end, we should get out of bounds on both words at the exact same time. Otherwise, one word is longer than the other. Or you could do the join operation, but like I said, the join operation will be take up space. So we're going to code this up using the 4 pointers. So first, we're going to say, and these 4 pointers are going to be W1, which will be the word where we are at in words 1, W2, and then I1, I2. And we can just set it all to 0. And we will also get the length of the words 1 array and words 2 array. So we'll say this is length of words 1, of word 1, and length of word 2. Then we'll say while W1 is in bounds, right? So this is this, and W2 is also in bounds. While both of them are in bounds, let's compare characters. So to compare characters, we'll just say if word 1, the word that we're on, and the character we're on does not equal word 2, W2, I2, then we can return false. Otherwise, let's increment these things. So if I1 is less than length of word 1, W1, right? The current word we're on. If it's less than length of this minus 1, because the biggest character it can be for a word is length of the word minus 1. So if it's less than that, then we can increment it. Otherwise, we'll go to the next word in this word 1. So then we'll say word and go to the next word and reset the index. And this is basically all the same for the second one, so we can just copy this in. So 2, 2, 2. So at the very end of this loop, now we know we're out of bounds on one of these, right? So then what we have to do is we have to make sure that we're out of bounds on the other one as well. And so that one's pretty straightforward. We'll just say return W1 is out of bounds, and W2 is also out of bounds. If only one of them is out of bounds and the other one isn't, that means they're not going to be the same string. And we can run that and submit. And yeah, so there we go. Pretty efficient. And as far as space, it's kind of like same thing all over the place. So I wouldn't trust like what it says here. Yeah, it's not super consistent. But essentially, in theory, this should be for time. This is going to be O of all of the characters, right? So it's going to be, so if they are not equal in length, you will just run out of bounds in one of them. So this would be like technically O of min of the characters. So we can call that like word 1 characters, like all the characters total, and word 2 characters, right? So it's going to be that. And then for the space, it's going to be O1 because we just use these 4 pointers to go through the words. And yeah, alternatively, like I said, you could just do this, and this would also work. So if you use this word 1 equals this. So you're basically saying, take both arrays, turn them into a string, and just check for equality. So this one-liner would also work. But yeah, that's going to be all for this one. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.